That should be a lot better. I hope you guys are able to hear me. Are you able to hear me, Vernon? Good to see you, man. A long time no see. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Man, I just went ahead and I said some really good things, and I really apologize you guys weren't able to hear me. Looks like my audio is working now. But let's go ahead and take a look at TradingView. So let's take a look at what is going on with the market. So I like to always start off with the stock market, kind of see where it goes. For all of you that might not know, the NASDAQ moves very close to Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and take a look at that together. So the NASDAQ right now, let's see how the NASDAQ finished today. We did talk a little bit about how the stock market was showing a little bit of strength. I personally think that the stock market will be making new all-time highs. Hence, that's going to mean that Bitcoin should be making, I wouldn't say new all-time highs, but it should be rebounding back to over that $100,000 range. And looking at the NASDAQ right now, it looks like we are at a very strong support. For all of you that might not know, this was during the talks about the tariffs. We saw the bottom of the market, and then we saw a major reversal, very similar to what we're seeing currently right now. And this is one thing that I like to point out to everyone is that during times like this in the market where there's so much fear, anticipation of the market being over, the bull run starting, we usually tend to see these major corrections. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe this is the start of the bear market, right? But let's always zoom out and look at the previous years of how things looked. And this is a very similar way that the chart for Bitcoin looks like as well. We see these major retracements, a lot of fear in the market, people are panicking, and then we see that major reversal. Now, of course, as everyone likes to say, this time might be different. Maybe we are in this bear market, but until proven, we'll go ahead and make the decision on how we're going to position ourselves. What do I do here? Position ourselves to make sure that we take advantage of every opportunity. I have no idea what I just did with my, let's see, can I zoom out of this? Maybe if I close it. I just got a MacBook a few weeks ago and I'm barely learning how to play with this, so bear with me. Vernon, okay, let's see what Vernon is saying. Let me bring some comments over right here to read. Let's see. We can hear you. Nice. It's good to catch you on the live, though. It's been a minute. Last I saw you stream, can't leave my favorite influencer in this space. Hope you've been good. Anyways, it's going to be lit. Good to see you, Vernon. Long time no see. How's everything coming along with you? I hope everything is coming along well. Are you still trading meme coins? The meme coin space hasn't been the same, but Vernon, he used to trade meme coins. He did very well. But let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here with Bitcoin. So let's see. Bitcoin. Alrighty, so Bitcoin right now sitting at $92,000. Let's go ahead and look at our smart, which is an indicator that I highly recommend all of you to go ahead and put in to your TradingView. It's free. Smart Money Concepts basically just shows you support and resistance. And as we see right here, Bitcoin's first resistance is going to be around this 103, 101. But majorly, the area that I'm really concerned about is this whole entire zone right here between 102 and 111. So ideally, what we want to go ahead and see for Bitcoin to be bullish once again is we need to see a break above this 1010, 111. This is a very strong area of resistance. We could go way back right here. And as we see, we do see that Bitcoin has struggled multiple times. So we struggled back this at around December of 2024. We've also struggled at around June 2025. And we've also now struggled this range where we're currently at right now in November of 2025. So what that indicates for us is that this is an area of resistance, meaning this is an area, a zone where there's a lot of selling pressure. Now, a big warning that I want to go ahead and give all of you, this is not to scare you. So if you're still watching the stream, before you decide to leave, make sure to listen to this because this is very important. What I have also identified, I've noticed, is that this could be a possibility that we could be forming a head and shoulders pattern, which is not a positive pattern. Usually with the head and shoulders pattern, if we do come back to this 109, and this is one of the main reasons why I mentioned, we really want to see 109 being broken before we start to get excited. There's a high probability we'll see a rebound like we're seeing it right now in the market. We just literally saw Bitcoin go from $80,000 back to $94,000 in less than 2 weeks. Now, that being said, is one quick reminder is that what we don't want to forget about is that there's a high probability, more than likely, we will see this happen. If we're in a bear market, that we're going to see the market get excited. Bitcoin's going to be back at 107. Your favorite influencer on YouTube is going to go ahead and talk about how the bull run is back and the altcoin season is starting. And you're going to see why altcoins will be up over around 30 to 40, 50, even 110%. And I'll show you right now shortly a few of your top altcoins that a lot of you might be holding on to. And this is going to give the illusion to retail that we're in a bull run. And what smart money is going to do if we're in a bear market, which there's no confirmation we're in a bear market, guys. There's more signs of a bear market. Let's be clear. Unfortunately, we're leaning more bearish right now. There's just a lot of signs that have been broken that are just showing bearish sentiment, scenarios, I guess, if you want to call them. But overall, it is showing a lot of more negativity in the charts than positivity. But once again, when it comes to charts, you got to wait for a confirmation before you make an assumption, right? And the only reason why I'm talking about a bear market right now is because that's what everyone's scared about. Everyone's scared and fearful about a bear market, which this should be nothing to be scared of. There's money to be made on both ends of the market. When the market's going up, when the market's going down, there's actually a lot more opportunities, in my opinion, to make money on the way down because people are freaking out and you can short the market and make money that way. We have liquidity pools, which we teach in our community. Join the link down below if you want to join our free community. We teach you where you can go ahead and earn 8 to 12% on yields on your stable coins, USDC, right? You can earn a yield on gold. I just talked to a member that was earning about 4% on gold, right? So there's a lot of these opportunities that you can take advantage of, but unfortunately, we're all in this mindset thinking that bull run is the only way we can make money. And that is not true. And that being said, is one of the main reasons why I'm talking about a potential possibility of a bear market, because a lot of your favorite influencers will not be mentioning this. And for that reason, if we do enter this bear market, more than likely what we'll see is that we'll see some upward momentum. We'll see Bitcoin go to this 102, 105, 110 zone, getting people excited, seeing altcoins go through the roof, 50 to 100%. I'll show you right now shortly. As everyone gets excited that we're back in a bull run, guess what's going to happen? 108 come crashing down, very similar to what we saw right here. Let's just say that we even come back to like 79. People think we're in a relief rally one more time. We see it bounce to 93, and then there we go. This is essentially the start of the bear market. It would be around this zone right here. This is what a bear market will look like. And as I mentioned, this is just based on the fact that it looks like there's a potential head and shoulders pattern forming. And really what I personally think is that what you could really see the lowest with Bitcoin is around $60,000, in my opinion. I could be wrong. If we go lower, that's even better. But this is very similar to what we saw in the last market. Like literally, this is identical. It's almost a little bit scary. If we take a look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's actually been behaving almost the same. I don't know why people say this time is different. Bitcoin hasn't been doing the same. No, it's been acting very similar. This is back in 2020 to 2021. And if we take a look at this recently, December of 2024, last year, this looks identical to what we saw. We saw Bitcoin go from 65, pump to 112, and then correct all the way to 72. There was a lot of panic and fear. Very similar to what we saw right here with Bitcoin. We saw it pump all the way to 64,000, dump back to 30,000, which is almost about 40 to 50%, and then rallied. And then everyone thought we were in a bull run right here, and this is the top. Very similar structure to what we're seeing right now. We see, correction go up. Everyone's screaming $200,000 Bitcoin, and then major liquidations, and the market gets wrecked, right? But one thing that I want to point out is that if you've noticed here, if we zoom in, and I'll start reading comments right now, is that we also see this head and shoulders pattern that played out right here. And this is exactly what a head and shoulders pattern will look like. Now, I don't think we'll see something this aggressive, but just taking a look at this is just a reminder that Bitcoin went from $66,000 all the way down to $17,000, which is a 73% retracement. This is where exactly Michael Saylor was buying at. He bought in literally at the top. And what we're seeing right now in the market is we're seeing a very, very similar structure with Bitcoin. And this is one of the main reasons why a lot of traders are looking at this and they're being a little bit concerned, right? As we should be, because it is definitely giving us the same signs, very similar corrections, very similar behavior. The only difference is that back right here in 2021, everyone was so excited talking about how this is going to be the biggest bull run. And I feel like we didn't see that this year. And that's why I'm hoping this is not the end of the bull run, because I feel like we didn't really get that rally that we should have, in my opinion. Now, this is the negative scenario, right? Is we do form this head and shoulders pattern. We get rejected at that 108, 109, where the area of resistance is. We see a drop, and we see a drop down to $60,000 to $50,000 Bitcoin before we start to see some upside in the rest of the market. Now, what I personally think it could happen, and I'm hoping this happens, and we're going to have to wait for confirmation until we start making assumptions. But I personally believe that there's still that little possibility that this is a fake out for the bears. And I'm still being a little bit hopeful that we see a move like this, where we see that everyone's thinking head and shoulders is going to build the next shoulder. And what ends up happening is we could go ahead and see it break through, fall down to support. They could potentially trap some bears somewhere in here, reverse it, and on to new all-time highs we're at. Now, with that being said, even if we do see a move like this, I personally don't believe Bitcoin has much room left. I think, in my opinion, like if we do see a reversal like this, and of course, it's all dependent on economical data and also many other factors, which I'll talk about shortly. Right now, keep in mind, FOMC meeting, the Fed meeting is this week, I believe. We'll go ahead and double confirm the date, but Fed meeting is this week. So the Fed's going to be talking about what we could be expecting with rate cuts, and more than likely they will happen. Now let's read some comments right here with Vernon. Alt, okay, it says things are looking scary in the market for sure right now. There's literally nothing reinforcing that we will come out of the bear trend and the 4-year cycle. Imagine if we just dumped to 40. I agree with you. Alts barely exist anymore at that point. That's how wrecked they would be. I don't trade Solana memes anymore because of how overextended that space was. If we were in a bear market, it will all go away. I agree with you. Solana is just not viable anymore. There's only so much fraud you could pull off before people just leave the space entirely. I'm positioned for the bear market right now, but I'm also ready to act. I agree 100%. Yeah. The thing is with meme coins, I think a lot of traders and a lot of people just got kind of noticed the game that was being played with the memes, or it was basically just pump and dumps. And that's one of the main reasons why I think that's why there's not enough liquidity. And I think it's also oversaturated with Pump Fund and all these other platforms. I feel like they just made things worse. Provided if things start to look bullish again, but right now the trend is not your friend in that regard. So I agree with you. I think there's going to be a rally to complete a head and shoulders pattern on BTC before we truly confirm the bear market. 100% agree. Couldn't have said it any better, Vernon. 100% agree. Yeah. I think more than likely we're in a bear. Personally, I think more than likely we are going to create that shoulder, and bear market it is. And honestly, it's not the end of the world. There's opportunities to be made. As I mentioned, you could do liquidity pools, earn yields. You could go ahead and short the market. There's a lot of opportunity. So it's not the end of the world. But I'm really hoping we do not enter a bear market. Really, what I want to personally see is And even then, my bullish standpoint on this is not really too bullish, because if we do see a scenario like this where, let's say, the Head and Shoulders doesn't get completed and we see a fake out where the market just rallies, I don't think Bitcoin has much room in the rest of the market to really pump. Like, I'm thinking between 150 at the max. I really see Bitcoin hitting that 180. And the reason why I say that is because I think there's a possibility that what could happen is that we see this major correction. News outlets, favorite influencers talk about this. You see this upward momentum in the market, and then retail starts to pour in at near the top, which could be right here, or it could be right here. And this is like a perfect scenario to trap retail investors, where they go ahead and get all the excitement coming in. And then by the time retail is coming in, buying at 150, you're hearing articles about why Bitcoin is the best purchase you could do and why you should be buying now. And then usually, I think this is where a correction could be happening. And if we do see that, then that would be taking us to somewhere around $70,000, depending, of course, if we do see it go as high as these ranges. But this is like the bullish case scenario. And as you see, even with the bullish case scenario, I still believe that there's going to be a correction. I think we're due for a correction. I think we're like we're either at the start of the bull run. Sorry, we're either at the start of a bear market, or we're at the last final stage of a bull run, which, as I mentioned, is that where we'll see things rally, get people excited, and then once we get to those very high new all-time highs, market crashes. And this is what there's just still a possibility for. And this is one of the main reasons why either way, I think the markets are due for a correction overall. I mean, Bitcoin, stock markets are overextended. I wouldn't say Bitcoin. I feel like Bitcoin really underperformed, in my opinion, and it could have done a lot better. But there's just a lot of options now compared to what we saw last previous years with altcoin seasons and all this stuff. But let's take a look at Ethereum. And honestly, same thing with Ethereum and the rest of the altcoins, which I'm not going to focus on too much, because Bitcoin leads the market. What Bitcoin does, it's going to go ahead and follow and translate when it comes to the other assets. Now, keep in mind, if we're in this market of uncertainty, the market's not certain of what's going to happen. We have the Fed talking crazy. We have uncertainty of the economy, of what's going on. People are not going to be investing in digital assets. They're not. This is one of the main reasons why we've been seeing gold rally. Gold has literally rallied over like close to 50+%. I mean, it literally took off. It started to take off back in, if you really want to call it, like, let's say, where did gold really start to rally? I think it might have been like right here, 2024. Realistically, gold in less than a year has rallied over 69 to 70%, depending on where you're measuring it. This is insane for gold. Like, in less than a year, we just see gold go up over 70%. That's insane. Just tells you how much fear there is in the market. And if we are in the state of the economy where investors don't feel comfortable, you think they're going to put their money in Bitcoin or Tesla stock or Netflix stock? No, too volatile. They're going to go ahead and put their money in gold, more than likely. And this is one of the main reasons why we're seeing gold go up. And going back to Ethereum, though, is Ethereum's looking very similar to Bitcoin. We still have to see those areas being broken. And as you see right here, I drew out that we do see Ethereum on this downtrend. Now, once again, same thing with Ethereum. We really do need to go in to see a break above. I think Ethereum's biggest struggles around this $4,100, $4,200 range. If we do see this breakout, then we'll see that Ethereum also go up and then crash. But same thing going on with Ethereum. It's also showing the signs of a possible head and shoulders if we start to get rejected right here. So overall, as I mentioned, and as Vernon is saying, until we probably break those zones where the market is showing that, we're not in this bear, and things will look a lot better. But one thing we're also seeing with the dollar is that we've been seeing the dollar get stronger, which is what we do not want to see. In the markets, in order for markets to go up, we want to see the dollar to be we want to see the dollar getting weaker. This is one of the main reasons why between March and April, when we saw the dollar crash, we saw the stock market start to rally at around April is when it bottomed out. But ever since then, when gold started to go, not gold, the dollar started to go up, and markets have been correcting. So hopefully we can start seeing the dollar get weaker, but we need a weaker dollar in order to see these markets go up, because right now, if the dollar is stronger, people are going to rather be in safer investments, which would be gold, treasury bills, and bonds, things like that, because they're like, why would I take a risk when, the markets are uncertain and the bank could offer me 3 or 4%, right? Which we all know in the liquidity pools that we are in. One example would be like Beefy or Harvest. You could earn anywhere between 8 to 12% on your stablecoins, which is way better than what these banks are offering. But let's see the questions. Let's see what Vernon is saying. Yeah, maybe we have a blow off top to 150, 180, but I am not holding my breath for it. Never say never. Bitcoin underperformed a cycle in regards to previous ones, but look at all-time gains. I agree. Are you still holding on to your memes? I know you wanted to make it big in the meme coin space, but I fear time has simply run out. Fortunately, there's always opportunities elsewhere. 100%. Yeah, I'm still holding on to the memes. Unfortunately, hopefully, with this rebound in the market, I could exit some of those. But yeah, I should have taken profits a little bit more aggressively. But just like everyone else, I thought we were in this bull run, but I think it's time to acknowledge that it might not be happening. We need sentiment reset before we can truly collapse down. That's why I think a rally is crucial for liquidity to build and to create a perfect trap for a brutal drawdown. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm being a little hopeful that we do see that blow off top, as you're mentioning, with Bitcoin, where we see it rally to 150, 180, and then the collapse happens. And that's where like the overall stock market corrects. I think, in my opinion, that's probably where we'll start to see a little bit of correction on gold. I personally think gold's overpriced. That's just me. Same thing with silver. I mean, I'm not going to be buying silver and gold at these prices. Luckily, I have a little bit of silver, but not that much. But I mean gold. But I'm not buying gold at $4,200 an ounce, which might be the dumbest thing, because I've been hearing about how banks are saying gold to like $6,000 to $8,000, which I wouldn't be surprised, because where else are investors going to be throwing their money? If it's not Bitcoin, if it's not Tesla stock, where would they be throwing it into? And that would be the metals market, which would be gold and silver. So overall, as I mentioned, there's still some hope in the table, but do not get trapped in this trap that most people will fall into. And that is just due to, influencers not being fully transparent and just kind of selling you what you want to hear. And this excitement could be really coming in very, very quickly once we start to see 102, 103 being approached. Very similar to what we saw back here in October, where Bitcoin was at 67, went to 105, corrected $75,000, and then went back up to like 126, 128, and then corrected. So it could be a possibility that we see the same structure where market gets excited, everyone gets excited, bull trap happens, and then dump happens. Or the second scenario, as I mentioned, we see Bitcoin break through these with no problem, and we see 150 being approached, and then we drop. And just so you guys could all know, Fed meeting, let's see if we can find the calendar. Okay, here we go. Fed meeting calendar is going to be December 9th through the 10th is going to be our next meeting. So that's going to be in a few days. Actually, that's happening tomorrow. That's happening tomorrow. So Fed meeting is going to be happening tomorrow. So very volatile week. Expect a very, very volatile week. hopefully there's something positive out of the news. It seems like the market is slightly kind of already playing it out. We can see a little bit of front running happening right here with Bitcoin. I mean, we're seeing some positive upside momentum, but as I mentioned, there's nothing to be excited as for just yet. And realistically, I'm not going to be getting excited until we see Bitcoin break past 108, 109, because this is the area that it has struggled to. And this is where it would technically be building the next shoulder if we are forming this head and shoulders pattern, which could indicate we are officially entering a bear market if we can't break past that 109, 110 zone. So let's hope that it's able to break those points, but that's pretty much it with the market. We'll see how things go tomorrow with the Fed meeting. And yeah, we'll go ahead and also go live on Thursday. So make sure to go ahead and smash that like button, turn on post notifications. If you haven't, I go live every Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesdays, I do solo streams, and every Thursday I do it with my partner, Tristan. So we do the live streams every Thursday. And I know we've been a little bit off of the streams just because we've been very, very busy, but now we're getting back into action and having a little bit more time to be able to cover these news. So of course, if you guys are interested in joining our community, make sure to go ahead and check us out down below in the description. We also have a free community if you'd like to join. But let's go ahead and see what Vernon is saying. At very least, I think we're going to above 100 for a bit again, so that might be where we start setting up some calculated shorts to not get broken like most people when crypto collapses. Agree. I think the rate cut is priced in unless it's like a 50 BPS. No, too surprised. We might be flush a bit. Yeah, I agree. It's already priced in, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. You have a good one, Vernon. I'm looking forward to catching up with you in another live. It's been an honor. You have yourself a great day. You too, man. It's good to see you. I really appreciate all your support as always, man. Joshua, after rate cut, what's going to happen to Bitcoin? That's a great question. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But more than likely, the market's already pricing it in. And I think more than likely, the market's going to go up. So I think in the next coming weeks, we'll probably see Bitcoin back at $100,000. And it's going to showcase, are we going to be entering the bear market or are we still in the bull? So $100,000 is the area of what we're going to be looking at. And let's just take a look at the liquidations before I leave. You're the best. Never change who you are. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. We see that there's a lot of liquidations right here for shorts and 92,400 and also 92.89. So there's a lot of liquidations we see right now with shorts, so they could get squeezed out. So I think we're going to see a mini short squeeze in the next coming days. I think we're going to have a very positive next coming weeks. As I mentioned, we can see Bitcoin go as high as 111, 117 and still be bearish. So Bitcoin has long ways to go, honestly. Tomorrow is SEP months for projections, JDP information, inflations and rate cuts for 2026. Now we'll see how it goes. I mean, we could talk about it on Thursday. I'm sure Tristan's going to be covering it. He usually covers what goes on with the Fed meeting. But yeah, I hope you all have a good one. Really appreciate you all showing up as always. I'm excited to be here. I really enjoy these streams. And I'm more excited that Vernon's here, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for showing up. It was a surprise seeing you. Vernon's been a very, very long supporter. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a good one. Good night and take care. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye.